Professor Pete here. We are going to talk about how to take photographs and put them into Photo Recap to generate 3D models. So here we are looking at a series of pictures. I took this a while ago and I was in a museum setting, so it was perfect because of the background and the lighting was perfect. Notice too that this sculpture itself does not have a lot of reflections. And as I shot it, I shot roughly 18 to 20 pictures of this, as many as I could. There's different ways you could approach it too. You could also shoot above as well and below it, so you can get better topology. So when you go to the software itself, you will go to and create a 3D object. So this can take anywhere from, as you drag it in, anywhere from 10 minutes to 30 minutes. It really depends on your upload speeds, and then for the cloud, the service from Autodesk to be able to generate the model. So you go and drag it in, but it has to be at least 20 pictures, then it'll create it. So again, it takes time, but just know that it takes a little bit of time. So once you load the model though, if you go to the dashboard, it should appear in your cloud drive. So if you signed in, it'll create a number of files here that are on the cloud for you. But on your computer, as you can see here, you can hit the down button on the cloud and it'll download it. And once it's downloaded, it'll appear here on your computer. So it'll download somewhere to a folder. But if you double click on the model there, you'll see that we have, again, you saw that there was a sculpture next to it and it captured it, but we really just want this model. And as you can see, if I right click and drag, it rotates. I can use a scroll wheel to zoom, and if I want to pan around the camera, then I left click. So right click allows you to zoom around whatever object you have selected. So you can see it looks pretty good, and if you hold middlemost button, you will be able to pan the object. So you can see the top, I didn't have a lot of pictures there, and also the very bottom, there's not a lot there, there's not even a hole. But you can see that it does look pretty nice. And I'm just going to clean this up. I'm going to remove the ground here, and if you do that, you select the selection, and then you can kind of click and drag the delete button. Deletes. So all this other residue you don't need, delete. Now we can just focus on this. As I zoom in, I'm just going to go ahead and delete this as well. Bottom. So there it is. Deselect. So there's also a lasso. So if you want to draw around like this, you can also draw it. Escape allows you to deselect. And from here, we can go ahead and start to retypologize this. So here we can retriangulate and we can decimate the mesh. So right now the face count right now is 700,000. So you see the faces. There's so many triangles. So we can reduce this to maybe 20,000. Since we're looking at a game, it's going to do some work to this, and we'll see how our outcome is. We can. The thing is, we want this model. We want the texture. Textures look really good. So when we export this out, we want to make sure that it holds the integrity of it, and it did. So as 20,000 polygons, it did a great job of keeping the majority of the model intact. And again, it's driven mostly by the texture. So you can export the image, video, or the model. Export the model as an OBJ, and you want to rebake the textures. The texture size is pretty big, 8,000. So you may want to reduce it to 2,000. You try it out, but I would say 2,000 is okay. There's a normal mapping there too, and you hit export, and then you save it out into the folder. So from here, you take the OBJ into 3ds Max, and you got yourself this Roman head with a texture. So just reattach the texture, or just port it straight to Unreal. So that's it, Professor Pete. I want to make a short video of how to take the pictures, what kind of pictures, not too glossy, of objects that are relatively clear, good lighting. Take at least 20 pictures and then take it into Recap Photo, load it into the cloud through Autodesk, creates the model, download it to your computer, clean it up a little bit by selecting things and deleting things as you need them, and then export it out with the proper export settings with the textures as well. Professor Pete out. Keep learning. Work hard. We'll see you in the next one.